It's recording.
Our brilliance and our
Her, the movie.
Yes, dude, you made me watch a movie with lots of swearing.
Oh man, I did not expect that. I just sort of expected Ex Machina in a bubbled brain,
sure,
future looking
yeah,
thought process.
Yeah. No, it was fine. It was I did close my eyes during parts of it, and it's like I'm gonna fall asleep if I because so much of it was like dragged out, and it's like
And a lot of it was about sleeping. He's in bed a lot, and that the neighbor, her documentary was watching her mom sleep, and I'm wondering if that had anything to do with it. Was there a tie-in with I just watched my mom sleep, because we do that most of our life? And I'm thinking, is that somehow trying to relate back to sleep being a big part of our life? I don't know. I couldn't quite.
You know what? This movie probably has to be watched a whole bunch of times to really get what they're really trying to do. But like, I just on first kind of, first glance, it's like, oh, okay. It was an okay movie, but it wasn't overly satisfying. Like I go to, oh, here's where and you kind of expect it. So.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of it. So I kept relating in my brain to Ex Machina. That was the thing that I kept going back to. Every single thing in the movie kept me bringing back to there, because it's set in the future.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the cityscapes at the beginning when he's walking through is all like futuristic-y looking thing, and then near the end, and they're looking out over the city, it looked like a current kind of city. It didn't have the same kind of thing. I wonder if they mucked that up or not.
Well, at first there's like, where's the grass? And it's okay, they showed the grass, and it's really sad looking grass. So it's one of those, then he goes to the mountains, and it still snows in the future, I guess.
So I mean, what did you think about the whole premise of the fall in love with somebody over with their brain, and that's it?
Yeah. I don't know if we as humans are meant to fulfill our lives that way. Doesn't mean that some people can't work that way. I don't think I could. It's like falling in love with someone, a pen pal, and falling in love with them that way. And it's funny because Martin's parents, they met in Holland, and they were there for a couple of months, and then Dad already had his ticket to come home, or to come to Canada. So he left, and then they wrote letters, and eventually they wrote letters, and then they decided to get married over the letters. So it's kind of neat. Yeah. And our neighbor fell in love over letters, and they married by proxy. So I guess that can kind of happen, but I don't know that we're meant to really live out our lives that way.
But I mean, you fall in love with somebody's cerebral palsy, all of a sudden the body is like a negative issue. Other than it's actually worse, because you now have something to take care of compared to just a brain vision of somebody. And hey, how you doing? And you're just talking.
Yeah, for most people, once you fall in love with them, when something happens, it can be dealt with because you love the person now anyways. But it's hard to fall in love with a package that isn't wrapped up the way you expect it.
I remember John Lawson, his sister dated a guy with cerebral palsy. And like she met him at a party and laughing with him, and then starts dating him. And I mean, like that's a really strong mental fortitude to be able to look past that. I would hope I could be that way. I probably can't, but so that's sort of what you have to address if you're going to fall in love with somebody that's in your ear and just talking to you, and you just have the mental aspect of it. So I don't know. I started to wonder, and then I'm wondering if this is what happened. I didn't quite get at the end of the movie. She leaves him. And why did she leave him? Did she, because she's talking when the first time when she brought that guy in, the really intelligent guy who was a summation of all his other things in life, they brought him back to life. They're chatting with him. And then I'm thinking, well, why doesn't Samantha fall in love with him? Like,
Well,
how would that?
maybe she did. We don't get to know. And like, the thing is first we thought she was just for him. And then, oh no, it's 8,000 people I'm dealing with. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's weird. But each time, like at one point you get along with the movie, and then it's like, you kind of think, oh, maybe it is a good relationship. She will never die on you. She will never, leave you. And then she almost dies, and then when everything closes down and he's panicking, and so maybe she can die, and then it's like, oh, it looks like she can leave him too. So it's like, okay, the one good thing about this kind of relationship turns out, well, it's not real anyway. So
but did she leave him because that's the right thing to do for him, or did she leave him because she went off with? That's, I guess, where the question is. I think she left him because he couldn't handle it. Because when she said 8,000 people, I'm in love with 600 of them, and then he's like, he can't handle it. She's going, oh man, I guess he can't. I better let him go, kind of thing. That's why she said, if you ever find your place in here, come find me. Yeah, I want to be with you, kind of thing. Yeah, that told me that she's saying this doesn't work because of you can't handle. I mean, I got no problem with the fact that she falls in love with 600 people and talking to 8,000 people. I mean, that makes perfect sense. I know how computers and multiprocessing and segments. AI, the funny thing is, AI is going to do this. What we just saw here, you will very soon be able to find your own person. I mean, you can get already personal assistants that are AI. Right. But I'm talking about somewhere where they have emotions in their voice, and they talk to you and they make you feel good, and you laugh with each other, and those kind of things are coming. Like, that isn't going to be so far away.
Well, when the whole movie premise and the idea that it was like, oh, glorified personal assistant, well, that sounded pretty good to me. It's like, I'd like to have one of those person, finding recipes for me, or any of the things that I want to do, they'll just take care of. But the fact that you could fall in love with them, just for me, it's just a step too far.
But Google's starting to do that. People say all the time, I was talking to somebody about this topic, and it popped up in my Google timeline. You know what I mean? Something I was just talking about. And that's exactly what her job was. She took his work and sent it out, and she knew he liked books, and there's a publisher, and did this work for him. And then he's like blown away with the fact that she knows him so dearly. That could be an important thing.
Okay, now here's the question. Is that book real? A really smart movie maker will have created that book, made up letters that he would have written, and then sells it.
Or has a buddy who's done that. The writer writes that into it so that people look up that book.
Yeah, one of two things. Yeah, I thought both of them would be very clever ideas. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. So
it was lots of books like that, though, or love letters or letters written. Yeah. Some are historical, Winston Churchill love letters to his wife kind of thing, and they put them all together, or Albert Einstein's letters or something. Yeah.
But I mean, it's set in the future, so he couldn't have written it already.
Stop it.
It would have been a smart marketing ploy to say, and the book.
And actually had the publishing date of 2025 on it. Just lie.
Oh, that would be funny. They should say 2021. No, I can't say 2020. Yeah, I don't know how they would do that.
2025 is the publishing date. Like in all the thing, when you look up the date it was published, date it was printed, like all that just lies. Awesome. Oh man, do I ever like that thought?
Yeah, that would be fun. Like, how far can we take it, and give a bio for the guy and all that. It's like, there's all kinds of stuff.
Because some people try and prove they're time travelers. You can hold up that book and say, "This book here is from 2025. Look, see, I've proven that I brought this book back. It's one of my favorite books."
I don't know how you get the ISBN number for the future that far ahead.
Well, you probably can just sort of fake that number, just read the characters over top of it. Yeah. You're mapping over another one that will come out in the future, probably. And then you.
Well, I actually wrote down "Letters from Your Life" by Theodore Thornby, so maybe I'll see if it is someone's done something.
Well, it'll come up in our Google feeds now and automatically purchase it for us. It's off to our house already. Thank you,
So you made me watch a movie with a lot of swearing and some I was going to say phone sex, but it's, yeah, whatever it was. So
Yeah.
it's like, I'm going to make you watch Billy Graham movie.
As I'm watching, because we started the movie about the exact same time.
Yeah.
As we're watching, I'm seeing all the phone sex and swearing, and just kept going. And I wrote, "I'm sorry" to.
I'm sorry.
So you'd get it and go, "Oh my goodness." Because if we were sitting next to each other, that's what I would have done.
Yes, you would have said, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's see if I can. I
didn't mind it. I thought that was reasonably realistic. Yeah, I don't know about the swearing, but
it doesn't show, but it says, "I'm sorry."
So overall, what did you think of the movie?
I won't watch it again. I would have loved watching it with you, because we would have, like, I would have said, "Oh, look, she's going to probably die," and because, "Oh, look, she's going to be a corrupt file." And the idea, like, when she like died for a second, like when he couldn't find her, it was like every moment of people who've lost, their pictures or a file or deleted something, and it's like, where did it go? And it's like, oh, it'd be even worse if that was your girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, I thought they were going to she was going to say to him in the middle, "Oh, just a reminder, this OS service has to be paid for, the new monthly payment, we're doing it down to," and then all of a sudden is she a prostitute whore kind of thing, where all of a sudden he realizes he's paying for this and she needs him to pay the money to keep her alive, kind of thing. So I really thought she was built for him. So the mistake I think they made was, in the future you would get an AI and it wouldn't do 8,000. You wouldn't need it. You'd have 8,000 different AI spun up that would go do 8,000 and all run on the same CPU, but her personality to him has nothing to do. It's totally segmented. It's virtualized from all the others. So to say she can talk to 8,000 people, and no reason not to talk to 30,000 or 7 million, or like it's all the same
thing.
Make
only one. Yeah.
Yeah. You could easily make one, and that's yours. And she says, "Of course not. I would never. I'm not," like, because the AI is built into that one conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was interesting. I like you like giving them a stars out of 10, and I don't know what I'd give it. I wouldn't recommend people watch it, mostly because of the phone sex scene and the swearing. I as a person can't say, "Oh, let's enthusiastically get behind that," because I just don't. It doesn't float my boat. I don't enjoy it so much. But it also doesn't mean like I have to run screaming from the room.
I don't know if me cringing at those scenes was because I know you're watching it, or because I'm getting old and I'm going, "This is gratuitous. Why are they putting this stuff in?" More. Why don't they pause, rewind? Like, so like I actually sat there going, "Am I just getting old?" Because I actually thought that's gratuitous.
They don't need to.
But I wasn't sure if I was doing it for you or me. If this wasn't a movie we're sharing, would I have thought it was gratuitous? Yeah, probably would. I probably would have thought it didn't need to be there, because there's a lot in there. Now it's a Spike Jones movie.
Okay.
And they normally call them joints, Spike Jones joints. That's what his movies are sort of called.
Okay.
But this wasn't. It just said it's Spike Jones movie production or whatever it was. And I don't normally like his stuff. Normally his stuff is very I will say ethnic, very, the barbershop and I guess maybe I haven't seen too much of his stuff.
I don't know any of his stuff.
Case. Yeah, you would have seen.
I don't know that I know.
Recognize it, yeah. But this was very. It made me think that some of it was almost in the past, and because I know about AI and I know about the computers that they're working with and stuff. I mean, the way the girl put the camera on her face, kind of thing, and that became the camera. That was sort of a bit silly. They had the camera on that little card folder thing.
Yeah,
that made sense to me.
Okay.
The other one is too much of a jump. You look at their monitors, big, clunky, thick. monitors that had heating vents in the back. They obviously tried to make this look futuristic as they did it, and that's what that thing was.
Okay.
And then his AI, when he was playing that game again with the little the kid and he's running through, that's very 3D futuristic stuff. And then they had these clunky monitors, and they tried to map too many times things high tech with normalcy in his life.
That's the look, this is the future. Isn't it cool? Yeah. And then you go, okay, well, it's not that much better.
Just the whole start of it when he's sitting there writing letters for other people.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's so good at it, and he's wonderful at writing letters for other people.
And people can hardly write letters on their own anymore.
And I mean, really, who wants to get? I guess it's between a card and you writing a card, because it's your personality put into this card. So it is more of you than a card. You go to a shop, pull one off and give it to somebody.
Right.
It's more of you than that, but it's less of you than you doing something. So
yeah, but if you sign the card, then and write a little something, it's like people don't have the time to do that anymore in the future. So it's just kind of like a bit of a concept that I go, I don't. We'll see.
And the fact that he liked books, in other words, he had a hold on the past and the old way of doing things, even though he's writing books. I don't know. Yeah. There was a lot of that mixing up that I didn't think. I thought it was going to be fully him and her, and that was the whole movie. When you saw trailers to this, it was just him walking, talking to her, and laughing and stuff, and that was it. So I didn't even really know there were other people involved. Yeah, in the movie. Well,
in the future, people are going to be talking to the things in their ears all the time, and so the thing is, that was the thing that told us that a person with schizophrenia was loose in the public, is when they were talking to themselves and having conversations and so on. But the future says, oh, we're going to be doing we're all going to be doing that, and it reminds me of the masks. We're all wearing masks now, and has nothing to do, back then masks were like, oh no, you're going to rob someone or whatever.
Or you are wearing a hijab and that covers your face and that's wrong.
Or whatever.
It's all right.
Yeah. No, it's like you have to have a mask on. So it's funny
thing you had a problem with doesn't mean a thing anymore.
Right. And it's like, how do they rob the banks? Because everyone's wearing a mask, right?
Out of mask, and then that puts people in fear. I'll breathe on you.
That's right.
I have no gun, but I'll breathe on you.
That's right.
I'll see you in your direction. Else you give me money.
I wondered if he was going to end up with a real life person, the girlfriend of that couple. So her name was Amy, and her real name is Amy. So that's why I was getting confused. Like, why are they calling her real name? So she played.
I don't know why more movies just don't call you your name, and then it would feel like because him as Joaquin, call him Joaquin. That's his name.
Yeah.
Like an Amy, call her Amy, and then you'd feel much more like the whole fake name thing.
Well, if they're truly trying to act, they're trying to imbibe another persona, then you really should have a different name, I guess. But let me see.
You should watch The Joker. He's in there. There's a lot of swearing.
He's supposed to be good in that too.
But it's really see a little bit of that in this movie, like 1% of the Joker in him. You get to see that. So I thought maybe it was a mental health kind of issue that they were trying to discuss too.
Sure.
Because his wife left him, then this girl left him, and he's alone. The other woman's husband left, and he meets up with his ex-wife and has those difficult situations. So I wondered how much this was almost an answer to mental health. But it didn't in the end because the AI left him anyways. But maybe because of his mental health, maybe the AI was smart enough to know this wasn't good for him. He can't handle this. Some people can, he can't. I got to let this go.
Could be. I know that like for schizophrenia, the conversation quite often is the voices are telling you to do bad things, and if you can get the voices working with them, and that's what they did in A Beautiful Mind. The idea that the voices can be help for you. They can be, that the angel on your shoulder kind of thing, instead of the devil on your shoulder trying to get you to do bad things. So if you have a problem, processing certain things, that actually is kind of an interesting thing, having someone, and same with Baby Driver, having something in your ear to help you, like for him, in his case, in a Baby Driver, that to keep you from having tinnitus problems. So to ground you.
There's the link between.
There you go. Something in your ear.
I didn't pick it with that, obviously. I just picked it because I like Joaquin Phoenix.
Sure.
When I've seen him in things,
yes,
I've been exceptionally happy.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant. He completely imbibes other people, and I don't even see Joaquin Phoenix very often, like in him. He absorbs the character so well that, yeah, he does a good job of that.
He does, but I don't imagine why I like the subtleties of acting. His acting is like in your face. It shocks you. But like the Rockford Files. If you watch some Rockford Files, I saw James Garner acting in that, and I was like impressed with just the acting, just the little things, the way he speaks. I thought Scarlett Johansson's voice was a little irritating, especially at first. Very, very much like Mom is on the phone when she's trying to be articulate with somebody. She, properly pronounces every syllable, comes clean as she wants to make it.
I'm speaking loudly and clearly.
Yes, that's how. And that's what she was a little bit too. Enunciating everything properly, and that's what. If you're making AI, you want the imperfections. That's what makes it human.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
It's like perfect music is no good. Guitar playing where it's not exactly the same each time is what makes it real. Makes it something that you can be a part of. Yeah. You don't want perfection.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Having a computer play a song and a person play a song. You want the person playing it, and you want that in a voice. You want the mistakes, you want the lisp and the spitting as you talk. And
we were saying that about. I had done some writing and I'm part of an anthology, and so the process is that you send stuff in, and then it gets looked at by proofreaders and editors and some people with grammar acuity that you do not have, and then they send it back to you, and then you fix it up. And in the conversation on Facebook, Arlene had said that, I don't know if I'd want to be criticized like that, to have my words potentially changed. And I guess it's a little bit like, in movies, the guy writes a screenplay and then they change the whole thing and then it ends up different, or the director takes it in a different place. But I don't mind writing what I write, even if it's bad. Like it's going to be me with mistakes and all. It's all okay. But if you're being part of another bigger thing, then you're trying to be with them all at the same level of using good English, etc. But I don't mind making mistakes. I don't mind, really bad pictures of me showing up. Like Karen puts when I had the poodle perm, and that's the one she puts up. And it's like, it's funny. It's cute. It doesn't bother me so much. So. Yeah,
no, I think I was going to go somewhere when you were talking about the picture thing. I don't remember where that was.
The poodle, the perm in my hair. That was excellent.
No, it was before that, and I was going to go down a road.
I'm glad that's happening to you too, because I go. You know what it is?
20 years.
Yeah, I know, but for me, it's, and that's why I interrupt so many times, because it's in my head now, and the times that I shut up and listen, it's gone.
Yeah,
so it's like I need to be able to interrupt, and that's like so rude. So. It's not nice.
So I thought it was great. I think I might even watch that movie again, because I need to figure out.
I will read some reviews on it before I write some stuff out. And it was like, the actors and stuff like that. The names that popped up is like, that's pretty cool. I was happy to see some. Like, I know those names. Like the ones that are the voice. the voices and stuff like that.
So would it be fooling around in a relationship if you fell in love with an AI and you're married? Like, is that have you crossed the line?
There's an inappropriateness of certain kinds of relationships, and is that inappropriate? I would think so. To the level he did, yes. But if you're just having a personal assistant who,
even if it's even if it's what he did, so we're responsible for our. We're not responsible for our thoughts, only what we do with them. So if it's strictly in the mind,
you can with your mind behave in such a way that is inappropriate in a marriage, or
with your thoughts.
Yes. If I would dwell on having an affair with the neighbor, they're both old women, so I can say that. If I only use my thoughts, but that's still to dwell on that's inappropriate for me.
What? So now you have a dream about that. Now you're responsible for that.
No, the dreams you're not responsible. But like, what do you mean by dwelling on something, right?
Well, dwelling, if it takes you out of your relationship and puts negative things into your, then it's affecting the relationship. But I'm just saying it's in your mind. It's only in your mind.
Okay.
So and it doesn't. You're still happily make dinner, home, church, all the stuff you do, get everything done. Kids are over, but your mind, for 15 minutes a day when you're alone, goes into this little thing like with her in the movie, and that's it. And you have this new world. I don't know. You take magic mushrooms and you have a whole new life. So one of the guys was saying that he took magic mushrooms and it lasted 6 hours or whatever, his trip or whatever. And he goes, I lived 2 months in another life. I had another life and it was 2 months long, and I had a different wife and I had a different. Tony Soprano in The Sopranos gets shot by his uncle, accidentally on purpose, and he goes into the hospital. And he has sepsis, and he's now like might make it, might not make it, and then he has these dreams that he's living through, and he's living a whole other life where he's a salesman and he is trying to get things done. And all of a sudden, this Tony Soprano guy that you know is a mobster guy is now just a salesman working for this company and meeting with people and trying to do salesman stuff. And that's his new life. So I don't know that you can't have another life that's not like that, as long as you still. I mean, if that affects you and now you don't want a relationship, are you saying that the temptation that gives you in that brain vision is too much for some people, and then that affects their regular life?
I guess what I'm saying is you can commit emotional adultery without ever doing anything with your body. And that's just the way I live my life, is that I don't put myself into places where
because you're scared. It's like me not drinking. I don't have one drink because it might be 2 drinks, it might be 3 drinks, it might be like, you know what I mean? I don't ever want to drink, so I don't ever touch a drink. I don't give myself a little bit of a reason to be able to drink.
Well, I'll stop.
So you're saying I don't
go down certain roads because it's inappropriate. I guess the simplest way is that you can commit emotional adultery without ever doing anything with your body, and you can still betray the relationship.
Adultery. Like you have to give it a name, so you'll call it that. It seems like an appropriate name. I just don't know that the thought police can call you on it. In other words, you get to say no, I don't, and then the moment they come out with a product that you put something in your head and it now tells everybody your thoughts, nobody'd be together because they'd know their real thoughts.
Sure.
And that's not a good thing to always know their real thoughts. So therefore you're hiding things. Therefore that emotional adultery should be somewhat acceptable. I don't. There's
lines, and everyone has lines that they cross, and my line is maybe different than yours. That's probably. And it's not that you're every little thought is going to be, brought to the fore and you're responsible for it. But yeah, there's a dwelling, like for me, there's a dwelling on it. And there's a story about the wolf that's hungry, and it's the wolf that you feed is the one that is growling the loudest, you feed it. I screwed up that story, but it's a great little story, little fable. And it's like, it's the one you feed. And do you feed thoughts that are good for you or not? Like you can say the same thing about a friend who didn't, forgot it was your birthday. And so now you feed on that. And now that person's not your friend and you're all angry and all that stuff, when really you could have just let it go because you forgot theirs,
Somebody forgetting your birthday is worth anything but they forgot my birthday and that's it. I would never in a billion years.
Me either. That's why I picked it. Cause I don't I have a friend and we're not some girls will be like that, right? It's like, you forgot my birthday and you weren't there for me. And it's like, no, that's not the kind of person I am. So, but you need to have friends around you that also feel that way. Because for the person that does get upset, you have to know, okay, I'm going to have to remember that this is their birthday. Otherwise they'll be upset.
But so you're not that type of friend, but you're the type of friend. If somebody needs to help moving, you've got a husband and sons.
Or
you're not doing it. I'm such a great friend that I have kids to do my great friend work.
I try to be quite careful in not saying yes to for other people. Volunteer myself. Like, yes, you can keep your car in my driveway for 2 months or whatever.
I didn't mean that you would do that. I meant that as a joke that you are that kind of friend. Yeah,
it's easy to volunteer someone else.
Yeah, I was going, it fell apart. Never mind.
I know, this is like, well, too bad we can't just go backspace a little bit and delete a little bit. Because it's not.
Well, I can always edit it. I can go.
Well, you don't need to edit.
I would never.
It's all what it is.
I like
and nobody's going to be listening this long anyways.
No, for sure.
We should put a little note, say, if you happen to get to the end of this, we have a little prize for you.
That's right. Here's an account number at a bank that's open-ended, and the first person to withdraw it gets it.
That's right. You didn't know about it because you didn't watch the whole thing. Like if you had been a real friend, you would have done so.
You would have got paid for that friendship.
Yeah, no. Ain't happening here. So the next movie is going to be For Him. For Him. It's a Bryan Cranston, and it's a lot lighter than this one, but this one was her, and the other one was For Him.
I get it.
Him and her.
So,
and I just got finished watching Bryan Cranston, and I can't remember the name of the movie. He was quadriplegic.
Oh yeah,
and he was so good in that movie. I just thought it was done so well, and it's like, and I think this one is a little bit more of a, daughter with a boyfriend.
A lot of woke people got upset with the fact that he played a quadriplegic when they could have had a quadriplegic playing a quadriplegic.
Of course, they're gonna get upset. Sure.
I hate it in computer movies when non-computer people play the computer people parts. It should be a computer expert. That's right. Should be.
Well, all those voiceover things. Yeah, no, and I get the point of like, hey, let some people who are quadriplegics do some acting and have some roles for them. I agree with that. But he did a stellar job. And I mean, same with Daniel Day-Lewis. And there's lots of people who've done, acting, that you don't have to be that to.
Yeah, but the problem is you want to make a movie and you have a quadriplegic playing a quadriplegic, and that doesn't make any money. You can't pay them the money because it's all about, okay, this movie, if I hire these two actors and get it in and promote it this way. So they say, why do you pay $4 million to a quadriplegic instead of Bryan Cranston? He needs the money more than Bryan Cranston does, but you wouldn't make the $4 million if you did it that way.
Yeah.
But that's the mistake. It's there to make money. That's why it exists.
Almost always. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's what it is. But and same with, not giving having a white guy play an indigenous person, like that at times is like, okay, that too is I won't say inappropriate, but it's not as it's more realistic and done properly when you have an actor who is the race that they're talking about, as opposed to no, I'm just pretending I'm Chinese, or
well, I mean, that depends.
or whatever.
If you have a pool of people that you can call on,
Sure.
But if you got to find, you're playing a movie from Tibet and you don't have somebody from Tibet who can play in it, that's a big enough name to be able to sell. You get Brad Pitt to go in and put on some makeup or something. I don't know.
Like I've seen a whole bunch of movies that when they're acting, I think, oh, I bet you they tried to get Meryl Streep and they didn't, so they got this person. Or,
really?
A guy, like I've seen a bunch of characters and I thought, oh, I remember seeing a Julia Roberts and it's like, oh, or a Cameron Diaz or whatever.
And you knew it would have been fit better somebody else in that part.
Yeah, I think the movie Hitch, the girlfriend or the rich girl, it's like, oh, she should have been Cameron Diaz, but she didn't want the role. So they have another, perky blonde, short-haired girl. So, but it's like she was tailor-made for that role, but they had someone else do it and they did a fine job, but they would have sold more tickets because it was Cameron Diaz because she's got a name, right? That kind of thing. So that's part of it. But she would have, if she cost too much money to make the movie, then they can't do it that way either.
Yeah.
Yeah. You and I discussing movie mechanics doesn't work either because we don't really know what we're talking about.
Well, we know we like and what we find acceptable.
And what we think and what we, assume that. But us knowing why they were picked, who knows?
Yeah, I don't think he was the best for this role. And now Scarlett Johansson was in this movie and in the World War II one, Bunny Rabbit.
Yes, Jojo Rabbit, our January movie.
Yeah, she was in there and a bit cold and yet it was supposed to be a great role because she's all about joie de vivre. You know what I mean? And yet she just, I don't know. I thought they could have. So I guess I don't like her in movies. Although, what was that movie?
I like the one with
Translation. She was in that, and I loved her in that.
What movie?
Lost in Translation.
Oh, I tried to watch that movie and I never got past the first 10 minutes and I was like, I'll turn
Ghost
it off.
World is another one that she was in, one of her first ones. Great.
I think she was in The Island with Ewan McGregor and I liked both of them so much that I liked the movie.
Yeah.
They did a good job.
We didn't do a good job at the beginning of this movie of outlining the story and saying what happened. We just went right into it. So if somebody's not seen the movie, we've really mucked it up for them. They have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, and I don't know that this is a great I'll put the link in the blog, but it's like, okay, this isn't quite the review that we probably should do separate reviews, but we've discussed it all already, so it's all good.
I don't think people, and what I mean by people is one person or two. Mom
will watch. Maybe Mom will watch to the end.
Yes, but I don't expect anybody really.
Okay, so we should have a code word at the end, and if anyone gets to it, then if they message either one of us, they get a birthday card from us. They get. Well, we should do something. We'll mention them in the next. That's the fact that they did it. So what's the code? The first person we'll do the code, and we'll read it, and we'll use that word at the end. Flutter budget.
Flutter budget?
Flutter budget.
One word or two words?
It's all one word. Flutter budget.
Flutter budget. Okay.
I don't even know how to spell it.
ERBUDGET.
Sure. Flutter budget.
So if they text or email either one of us, as soon as we get the first one, we'll look at the timestamps on them.
And we'll say, you won. What did you win?
No. They know what they win is we mention them in the next when we do, and we say, my goodness, the winner of the contest was, and we had two people actually do it, one person a day later, and we won't mention their name because they were late and therefore are losers. And
better luck next time.
Right. Next time, get on and watch this.
As soon as there's a notification of a video that's been put up by Jeff Eleveld, then you should be watching the entire thing.
Refresh. Every single month after the 20th. Refresh.
Any minute he's going to put a new video up, I'm pretty sure.
spend your life. Yes.
Oh, that's a sad. I don't think we know that many sad people.
We don't know anybody that's sad.
But we do know someone who will like the video.
Yeah.
She's gonna like it. Like I don't even have the post fully up, and Mom is like.
I should do a close up of a falcon being run over by a car, and Mom will like, oh, look at that, like. What was it? And then she looked at it.
Yeah, flat bird on the road or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for doing this, and
I wish we could be sitting in the same room. I would have watched it differently. I wouldn't have almost fallen asleep.
I probably would have too. I only paused it once and rewound at the beginning when they said the company name he worked for.
And I had that with the name of the book that he wrote.
Oh, you went back to do that. I just went
back.
Obviously, I knew what he was doing, but I wanted to know what they were naming the company to make it so obvious. And it was like letters from us or
beautifulhandwrittenletters.com. I did the same thing, Jeff.
Oh, did you?
I rewound exactly that same spot because I wanted to know if it was beautifulhandwrittenletters.com. And it's like, I wonder if there's a website, and I might try Googling it. I don't know. This is now not the end of our conversation, though, because then Flutter Budget is at the end.
I need to say it again. Well, it goes, you know what it does? It goes to warnerbrothers.com, movies her.
Right.
So somebody did go get that domain
and
send it off to that movie.
Yeah,
that's sort of good. That's sort of smart,
clever. Yeah. Well, I had the same thing that he wrote a letter. The very last scene, he's reading this letter he wrote, and I'm thinking, who is he writing it to? Because I'd forgotten that his ex-wife's name was Catherine. Like
me too. For a second, that's when you and I watch movies the same. I was going, that must be his ex-wife he's writing to.
Yeah, and I was like, I hope it is. I don't know, what was her name. I have no clue. So I had as soon as the movie was over, I went to the cast and looked, and it says, oh, okay, her name was Catherine. That's okay. Now I know, but I didn't get what he was doing. And
so, what were you thinking when he went and knocked on her? He knocks on her door and she answers in 1 second. That was a mistake.
Was she standing there?
She's standing behind the door.
Yeah. So
they should have gone knock, knock, and he has to wait for a few days. Coming, that kind of thing. They didn't do that. So, when she came out, he goes, will you come with me? She comes out. They start walking up the stairs. They're probably going to the roof. What was your thought in your brain at that moment?
I didn't know. I didn't know or almost care. That's the thing.
I was thinking about they were going to commit suicide.
I was going to say jump off the roof.
Yeah, that's what was in my head was the Romeo and Juliet kind of life is, because I knew it was near the end of the movie.
Yeah, no, they have to fall in love because they both had AIs who disappointed them, and so now they're going to have real people love. But I didn't care enough about them. I didn't care that they're going to have a happily ever after.
I didn't either. But there were. I mean, it was nice when they were sitting up there and then on the shoulder. Sweet. And that was sort of nice from the very end. But my brain thought, are they going to jump off the building together? That's how this is going to end. Is they can't handle that thing that her was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the hurt of it.
AI, and that hers too, and. That's what he was taking her to say, let's go do this. But of course, it had nothing to do with that. But
no, and if we were sitting together, I would have, when he was, I think on the train to his holiday, I would have said, or no, when he lost her, oh, look good. Isn't it nice that AI won't never hurt your feelings? You know, just before that. And then it's like, oh, turns out they can hurt your feelings. And just, oh, they can never die. Oh, turns out they kind of can die. And I would have looked at you and poked you and said, this is what they're doing next. This is what they're doing next. And it's like, yeah, right.
Okay, Flutter Budget.
Yeah. We should have something else because it's not the end. They got the clue at the halfway through now.
I wonder if they'd listen to the end and then email us and then be the second person because somebody else heard Flutter Budget and did it right away.
Right away. And it's like, no, you didn't listen to the end.
Okay. Well, on that, we will. I should have hit record.
Oops. Oh, we'll just replicate it and do it all over again.
All over again, exactly word for word.
Well, whenever I made the videos, so there was always a there's two videos. One was like 4 seconds or 10 seconds, and then there was the proper one because I always went, yeah. And then, okay, start over again.
I love talking on stuff, so I've never started and stopped or anything.
I've done that for a few things.
Level it and stuff like that. I should show you the podcast I did with Greg. That I did 2 of them now. And,
I'll see the second one when you post it.
It's on. Did I send you the first one?
I've seen the first one.
Okay.
The sunny day.
Yeah.
If he wants to talk to me about walking, I'll talk.
Yeah, no, he might. I'll talk to him about that. He might find that interesting. Okay, girl. What a budget.
Thanks.